Question 1. A project manager is leading a software development project and discovers that a critical requirement was missed during the planning phase. What is the most appropriate action the project manager should take first? A. Immediately implement the missing requirement to avoid delays. B. Document the new requirement and assess its impact on the project baselines. C. Inform the development team to start working on the requirement. D. Escalate the issue to senior management for a decision. Answer: B. Document the new requirement and assess its impact on the project baselines. When a new requirement emerges, the project manager's initial step should always be to formally document it and then analyze how it impacts the project's scope, schedule, cost, and quality baselines. This structured approach ensures that all potential consequences are understood before making any decisions, preventing uncontrolled changes. For instance, adding a new feature late in a software project could significantly delay delivery or increase costs. Understanding the full impact allows for informed decisions, whether to approve the change, defer it, or reject it. Always follow your change control process for any new requirements or changes to existing ones. Question 2. During project execution, a team member identifies a potential risk that was not identified in the initial risk register. What is the most important immediate action the project manager should take? A. Instruct the team member to monitor the risk for a few days to see if it materializes. B. Update the risk register with the new risk and perform qualitative and quantitative risk analysis. C. Develop a workaround solution immediately to address the potential impact. D. Inform the sponsor about the new risk and ask for guidance. Answer: B. Update the risk register with the new risk and perform qualitative and quantitative risk analysis. When an unidentified risk emerges, the project manager must first formally acknowledge it by adding it to the risk register. This is followed by performing qualitative and quantitative risk analysis to understand its probability of occurrence and potential impact on project objectives. For example, if a new technology vendor is proposed, their stability might be an unknown risk needing assessment. This systematic approach ensures that risks are properly evaluated before deciding on a response, avoiding reactive and potentially costly interventions. Always make sure to analyze new risks thoroughly before deciding on a response. Question 3. A project team is experiencing significant delays due to frequent changes in requirements requested by the client. Which of the following processes would be most effective in managing these changes and their impact? A. Validate scope. B. Control scope. C. Plan scope management. D. Define scope. Answer: B. Control scope. The control scope process is specifically designed to monitor the status of the project and product scope, and manage changes to the scope baseline. When requirements are frequently changing, this process helps ensure that all changes are processed through the integrated change control system, preventing scope creep and maintaining control over the project's direction. For instance, if a client keeps asking for new features, the project manager uses control scope to evaluate each request formally. This process helps keep the project focused on the agreed-upon deliverables. Remember, controlling scope is about managing what's in and out of your project. Question 4. A project manager is reviewing a deliverable with stakeholders and receives feedback that it does not meet the specified quality standards. Which process group does this activity primarily belong to? A. Initiating process group. B. Planning process group. C. Executing process group. D. Monitoring and controlling process group. Answer: D. Monitoring and controlling process group. The activity of reviewing deliverables with stakeholders and assessing them against quality standards falls squarely within the monitoring and controlling process group. This group involves tracking, reviewing, and regulating the progress and performance of the project, identifying any areas in which changes to the plan are required, and initiating the corresponding changes. For example, checking if a constructed building meets the architectural blueprints is a monitoring and controlling activity. This ensures that the project work is progressing according to plan and that the project objectives are being met. Always remember that checking work against standards is a key part of monitoring and controlling. Question 5. In an Agile project, the team has completed a sprint and is preparing for the next one. Which Agile ceremony is specifically designed to inspect the increment and adapt the backlog as needed? A. Daily Scrum. B. Sprint Planning. C. Sprint Review. D. Sprint Retrospective. Answer: C. Sprint Review. The Sprint Review is the Agile ceremony where the Scrum team and stakeholders collaborate to inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. It's a time for the team to demonstrate what they have completed during the sprint and gather feedback from stakeholders on the functionality. For instance, showing a working piece of software to users to get their input helps ensure the team is building the right product. This allows for transparency and helps ensure the product continues to align with user needs. Think of the sprint review as the showcase of completed work for feedback. Question 6. A project manager needs to procure a specialized piece of equipment for a project. Which document formally authorizes the project manager to proceed with procurement activities? A. Project Charter. B. Project Management Plan. C. Procurement Management Plan. D. Seller Proposal. Answer: C. Procurement Management Plan. While the project charter authorizes the project and the project management plan guides its execution, the procurement management plan specifically outlines how project procurements will be managed, from planning to contract closure. It details the types of contracts to be used, the procurement statement of work, and the criteria for evaluating sellers, effectively authorizing the project manager to begin procurement activities according to the defined strategy. For example, if the plan states the project will use a fixed-price contract for software licenses, it empowers the project manager to seek bids accordingly. This plan provides the necessary structure and approval for all buying decisions. Question 7. A project manager is facilitating a meeting to identify potential risks. The team uses brainstorming and interviews to gather information. This activity is part of which risk management process? A. Plan risk management. B. Identify risks. C. Perform qualitative risk analysis. D. Plan risk responses. Answer: B. Identify risks. The identify risks process is focused on determining which risks might affect the project and documenting their characteristics. Techniques like brainstorming, interviews, and checklists are commonly used to gather comprehensive information about potential threats and opportunities. For example, a team might brainstorm all possible issues that could arise during a building construction project, from weather delays to material shortages. This proactive step ensures that as many risks as possible are recognized early, allowing for better planning and management. Remember, identifying risks is the crucial first step to managing them effectively. Question 8. What is the primary purpose of the project charter? A. To provide a detailed breakdown of all project work. B. To formally authorize the existence of a project and give the project manager the authority to apply resources. C. To define the project's scope, schedule, and cost baselines. D. To document how the project will be executed, monitored, controlled, and closed. Answer: B. To formally authorize the existence of a project and give the project manager the authority to apply resources. The project charter is a foundational document that formally establishes a project and grants the project manager the authority to utilize organizational resources for project activities. It essentially signals the official start of a project and empowers the project manager to lead it. For instance, without a charter, a project manager wouldn't have the formal backing to hire team members or allocate budget. This document is critical because it links the project to the strategic objectives of the organization. Think of the project charter as the project's official birth certificate and the project manager's mandate. Question 9. In an Agile context, Which role is primarily responsible for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team? A. Scrum Master. B. Development Team Member. C. Product Owner. D. Project Manager. Answer: C. Product Owner. In an Agile framework like Scrum, the product owner is the individual primarily responsible for maximizing the value of the product and the work of the development team. This involves managing and prioritizing the product backlog, ensuring the most valuable features are developed first, and serving as the voice of the customer. For example, they decide which features should be built next based on market demand. This role is crucial for guiding the team toward delivering the right product. The product owner essentially bridges the gap between the stakeholders and the development team. Question 10. A project manager is about to close out a project. Which of the following is a primary output of the close project or phase process? A. Work performance information. B. Lessons learned register. C. Change requests. D. Project management plan updates. Answer: B. Lessons learned register. The close project or phase process involves finalizing all activities across all project management process groups to formally complete the project or phase. A primary output of this process is the final lessons learned register, which documents successes, failures, and recommendations for future projects, contributing to organizational process assets. For instance, documenting what went well with communication and what could be improved for future projects helps the entire organization learn and grow. This knowledge is invaluable for continuous improvement and ensures that valuable insights are captured for future endeavors. Question 11. A project team is experiencing conflict over resource allocation. Who is ultimately responsible for resolving such conflicts in a functional organization? A. The project manager. B. The functional manager. C. The project sponsor. D. The team member experiencing the conflict. Answer: B. The functional manager. In a functional organization, team members typically report directly to their functional managers, who retain authority over resource allocation, promotions, and performance reviews. Therefore, when resource conflicts arise, the functional manager is ultimately responsible for resolving them, as they control the resources within their department. For example, if two projects need the same engineer, their functional manager would decide who gets priority. The project manager's role in this structure is more limited to coordination and communication rather than direct authority over personnel. Question 12. During the executing phase of a project, the project manager needs to ensure that the project work adheres to the project management plan. Which process is primarily concerned with directing and managing the project work? A. Monitor and control project work. B. Direct and manage project work. C. Manage project knowledge. D. Implement risk responses. Answer: B. Direct and manage project work. The direct and manage project work process is where the planned project activities are carried out to complete the project work and produce deliverables. This includes performing the activities to achieve project objectives, creating deliverables, and managing interfaces. For example, the actual coding in a software project or the construction of a building happens within this process. It's the core execution process where the team puts the plan into action. This process ensures that the project team is performing the work as defined in the project management plan. Question 13. Which project management knowledge area is primarily concerned with identifying the project stakeholders, analyzing their expectations and impact, and developing appropriate management strategies for engaging them effectively throughout the project life cycle? A. Project communications management. B. Project resource management. C. Project stakeholder management. D. Project integration management. Answer: C. Project stakeholder management. Project stakeholder management focuses on the processes required to identify all people, groups, or organizations that could impact or be impacted by the project, analyze their expectations and impact, and develop appropriate strategies for engaging them effectively in project decisions and execution. For instance, understanding a key investor's communication preferences and involving them in critical reviews falls under this area. Effective stakeholder management ensures that stakeholders' needs are considered and their influence is managed to the project's benefit. Always remember that engaging with stakeholders effectively is crucial for project success. Question 14. A project manager is informed that a key team member will be leaving the project unexpectedly. What is the immediate priority for the project manager regarding this departure? A. Update the project schedule to account for the loss of the team member. B. Notify the project sponsor and key stakeholders about the personnel change. C. Identify and secure a replacement for the team member. D. Assess the impact on the project's remaining work and deliverables. Answer: D. Assess the impact on the project's remaining work and deliverables. While all listed actions are important, the immediate priority when a key team member departs unexpectedly is to assess the impact on the project's remaining work, schedule, cost, and quality. Before finding a replacement or updating plans, the project manager needs to understand the full scope of the disruption. For example, understanding which tasks will be affected and how much delay might occur helps in making informed decisions. This assessment informs all subsequent actions, such as resource planning and communication to stakeholders. Always understand the full impact before reacting to a change. Question 15. What is the primary benefit of conducting a kickoff meeting at the beginning of a project? A. To get formal approval for the project from the sponsor. B. To develop the project management plan in detail. C. To ensure a common understanding of project objectives, roles, and responsibilities among stakeholders. D. To close out the project formally and obtain final sign-off. Answer: C. To ensure a common understanding of project objectives, roles, and responsibilities among stakeholders. The kickoff meeting serves as a crucial initial gathering for the project team and key stakeholders, primarily to ensure that everyone has a common understanding of the project's objectives, scope, key milestones, and their respective roles and responsibilities. For instance, explaining the project's goals and each team member's part in achieving them helps align everyone's efforts. This shared understanding fosters team cohesion and sets the project off on the right foot, minimizing misunderstandings later on. Remember, a successful kickoff meeting lays the foundation for good communication and collaboration. Question 16. A project manager is faced with a significant technical challenge that the team lacks the expertise to resolve. What is the most appropriate action? A. Extend the project schedule to allow the team to acquire the necessary skills. B. Reassign the task to a different team member who might be able to figure it out. C. Seek external expert consultation or consider outsourcing the specific task. D. Initiate a change request to remove the challenging feature from the project scope. Answer: C. Seek external expert consultation or consider outsourcing the specific task. When a project team encounters a technical challenge beyond its current expertise, the most appropriate and often efficient solution is to leverage external resources. This could involve bringing in consultants with specialized knowledge or outsourcing the specific task to a vendor that possesses the required skills. For example, if a software project needs a unique database integration, hiring a specialist for that component could be faster and more effective than trying to train the existing team. This approach ensures the project can continue moving forward without significant delays or compromises to quality. Question 17. In which process group is the project management plan developed and baselines established? A. Initiating process group. B. Planning process group. C. Executing process group. D. Monitoring and controlling process group. Answer: B. Planning process group. The planning process group is where the project management plan is progressively elaborated, and the project baselines, scope, schedule, and cost, are established. This involves defining objectives, selecting the best course of action, and laying out the necessary strategies to achieve the project goals. For example, determining the detailed tasks, their durations, and the budget for each activity occurs during planning. All the detailed thinking and strategizing about how the project will be done happens here. Question 18. What is the purpose of a work breakdown structure, WBS? A. To define the project's organizational structure and reporting relationships. B. To present a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work to be carried out by the project team. C. To identify the critical path and determine the project's shortest possible duration. D. To allocate resources to specific tasks and monitor their performance. Answer: B. To present a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work to be carried out by the project team. The work breakdown structure, WBS, is a fundamental project management tool that provides a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work required to achieve project objectives and create the required deliverables. It breaks down the project work into smaller, more manageable components, making it easier to plan, estimate, and control. For instance, a WBS for building a house might break down into foundations, framing, roofing, and interiors. This structured approach ensures that all necessary work is identified and accounted for, preventing missed tasks and enabling better management of the project scope. Question 19. A project manager is preparing to communicate project progress to various stakeholders. Which tool or technique would be most effective for tailoring communication content and channels based on stakeholder needs? A. Performance reporting. B. Communication requirements analysis. C. Meetings. D. Information management systems. Answer: B. Communication requirements analysis. Communication requirements analysis is the process of determining the information needs of the project stakeholders. This involves identifying who needs what information, when they need it, in what format, and through which channels. For example, executives might prefer summary reports weekly, while team members need detailed task updates daily. By understanding these specific requirements, the project manager can tailor communication strategies to ensure information is delivered effectively and efficiently, avoiding information overload or insufficient communication. This ensures that every stakeholder receives the right message at the right time. Question 20. In Agile projects, what is the primary goal of continuous integration? A. To ensure all team members are continuously working. B. To merge developers' working copies to a shared mainline several times a day. C. To integrate customer feedback into the product every week. D. To continuously train team members on new technologies. Answer: B. To merge developers' working copies to a shared mainline several times a day. Continuous integration, CI, is an Agile practice where developers frequently merge their code changes into a central repository, often multiple times a day. Each integration is then verified by an automated build and automated tests. For instance, when a developer finishes a small piece of code, they immediately integrate it, and the system checks for errors. The primary goal is to detect integration errors early and frequently, making them easier to find and fix, which leads to a more stable codebase and faster delivery. This practice improves software quality and reduces integration headaches. Question 21. Which of the following best describes the role of a Scrum Master? A. To manage the project budget and schedule. B. To maximize the value of the product and the work of the development team. C. To facilitate the Scrum process and remove impediments for the development team. D. To dictate tasks and assign work to the development team. Answer: C. To facilitate the Scrum process and remove impediments for the development team. The Scrum Master acts as a servant leader for the Scrum team, primarily responsible for facilitating the Scrum process, ensuring the team adheres to Scrum values and practices, and removing any impediments that hinder the team's progress. For example, If the team needs a specific software license to proceed, the Scrum Master would work to acquire it. They do not manage the budget or assign tasks, but rather enable the team to be self-organizing and effective. Think of the Scrum Master as a coach and facilitator, not a traditional project manager. Question 22. A project manager is working on a complex project with high uncertainty. Which project life cycle approach would be most suitable for this type of project? A. Predictive life cycle. B. Iterative life cycle. C. Incremental life cycle. D. Hybrid life cycle. Answer: B. Iterative life cycle. For projects with high uncertainty and evolving requirements, an iterative life cycle is often most suitable because it allows the project team to refine the product requirements and outcomes over multiple iterations. This approach involves repeating project phases as the team's understanding of the product grows, delivering value periodically. For example, in developing a new type of scientific instrument, an iterative approach allows for testing and refining designs based on early feedback. It allows for flexibility and learning, which is critical when the final solution isn't fully defined at the outset. Question 23. The process of perform integrated change control primarily involves which of the following? A. Approving or rejecting change requests. B. Identifying and documenting all changes. C. Communicating changes to stakeholders. D. Ensuring changes are implemented correctly. Answer: A. Approving or rejecting change requests. Perform integrated change control is the process that reviews all change requests, approves or rejects them, and manages changes to deliverables, organizational process assets, project documents, and the project management plan. It ensures that only approved changes are incorporated into the project. For example, if a team member submits a request to alter a project deliverable, this process is where that request is formally evaluated and a decision is made. This centralized control prevents unauthorized modifications and maintains project integrity. This process is crucial for preventing uncontrolled changes and maintaining project stability. Question 24. A project manager is leading a global project with team members located in different time zones. What is the most important factor to consider for effective communication? A. Relying solely on email for all communications. B. Scheduling all meetings during a single, common time zone. C. Establishing clear communication protocols, channels, and expectations. D. Limiting informal communication to avoid misunderstandings. Answer: C. Establishing clear communication protocols, channels, and expectations. For global projects with distributed teams, establishing clear communication protocols, appropriate channels, and explicit expectations is paramount for effective communication. This means defining how and when team members will communicate, which tools to use, e.g., video conferencing, instant messaging, and what the response times should be. For instance, agreeing on a specific time window for daily stand-ups that accommodates multiple time zones helps everyone participate. This structured approach minimizes miscommunication, ensures everyone stays informed, and fosters collaboration despite geographical distances. Question 25. Which of the following is an example of an organizational process asset, OPA? A. The project management plan. B. Lessons learned from previous projects. C. Enterprise environmental factors, EFs. D. The project team's skill set. Answer: B. Lessons learned from previous projects. Organizational process assets, OPAs, are the plans, processes, policies, procedures, and knowledge bases that are used by the performing organization. These include templates, standardized processes, and historical information such as lessons learned from previous projects, which are invaluable for guiding future projects. For example, a company's past project completion reports that detail successes and failures are considered OPAs. They represent the accumulated knowledge and wisdom of the organization, helping project managers leverage past experiences.